let's talk about fatherhood. Fathers, real fast here. This is not going to be a long stream. This is going to be sort of like a setting the tone for this week. The week schedule for Rant and Chill is going to be Monday, Wednesday, and those streams Monday, Wednesday at 9:30, around that time, 9:30 Central Time. And what I'll do is each week there'll be a certain theme to Rant and Chill on the topic, and really go into it and really bring in callers too from the Discord. So if you want to join the Discord, go ahead and do so. The link will be in the description box. All right, we'll keep it themed, keep it fun, and we're gonna have to do, because with the changes going on YouTube and the way Susan was talking on that stream she was on, people are worried about what sort of content they could put on here. That spicier stuff I did on the previous channel probably can't do. But we could talk about fatherhood. I hope we could talk about life issues, I suppose. Anyway, so yeah, fatherhood. That's going to be the theme this week here, and it's important to talk about the value of fatherhood. The importance of a father in the household is not something that should be written off. It's not something that should be belittled or diminished. It is very important. You can look at the stats. Fatherless homes have a higher tendency to be in poverty. That seems to be an indication, or at least a correlation with fatherless homes and crime rate. Depending on where you are. And that could be due to other factors, but that could be due to factors that the father is out of the home. That could be because the father is dead, or the father is shooting up drugs and not in the home anymore, which will walk out in the home. Or the father could be incarcerated. Okay. Either way, you got a fatherless home. You got kids that have no father figure to look up to. So they're lost. They look up to other people, maybe older peers, maybe some adults in the community. They look up to them. They see what they do. They follow that. They follow their behavior. They emulate their behavior. And if they're in an environment where the adults or the older kids are into some bad behaviors, maybe a criminal element or whatever, criminal activity, then that's something that they're going to emulate. That's something they're going to get into. And they're not going to really develop any real life skills. They're not going to really get a sense for right and wrong or anything like that. So that's why I said in a very short video that I don't see any good reason for why a father should be not involved in his kid's life unless the father is deceased. And someone brought up a good point. Mom's Ravioli did. That what if the father is a piece of shit? And that is a good point. What if the father is a piece of shit? And they do exist. Let me just say from the beginning, any father that abuses his own kids, and I'm not talking about physical discipline. Depending on what state you are in, it may be illegal, may not be illegal, but physical discipline, there's a time and place for it. You might have to give your son and daughter a reality check to let them know, hey, no, there's a consequence for acting batshit crazy. And if you think you're just going to get away with acting batshit crazy, that's not going to happen. There's going to be a sort of consequence, a reality check that's going to reset you. And that's where physical discipline may come in. And that's moderate stuff. No, I'm talking about real abuse, like a punch in the face. I'm talking constant beating in the face. I'm talking constant beatings where you're bruised and scarred and stuff like that. I'm talking like the parents, burn the kid with cigarettes or cigars or whatever, or inflict sexual abuse, maybe put them in a cage at night, make him bark like a dog, things like that. Parents that do that, to me, they don't deserve to be parents. they lost their right to be parents. That kid is better off in a foster place. With how bad it is at their home and the way I described it, oh yeah, they're better off in a foster place. Now that foster home might have some trouble, but you know, those aren't perfect either. But that's a discussion for another time. That's a whole other topic, isn't it? Now, so yeah. Now, there are dads that may not really be involved necessarily, but they're in the home. They're not, I wouldn't consider them a piece of shit. They're there. At least they're there. And sometimes that's all it really takes to be a good father, is to just be there. Be there. You might not be the best father, but you're there. Most of the time, fatherhood is just showing up, being present. That's all it really is. Bare basics. But even that is better than just not being there. Now, actually, let me ask you this, though. Going back to the abusive parents, let me ask you, is it better that a kid stays in a quasi sort of abusive, like maybe the dad had a rough, maybe he has a very rough way how he disciplines, but it was one phase of the life and they navigated that just fine, and maybe the dad has a drinking issue, maybe he has a drug issue or whatever, but he's there, the mom's there. They do have jobs. They've been kind of maintaining. They're not in poverty. They're still like middle class, so to speak, but they have some trials. They have some issues. Kind of a troubled home. And that's like people been in those homes. Like it would probably fit. It would fit the definition of abuse for like, let's say, child protective services standards. But it's a sort of life that, well, let me just put, do you think that the child is better off there with that sort of father? When that's there, and maybe later on down the line, that father gets better or whatever. I'm curious what you think in the comments section about that. See, when I was growing up, my father wasn't bad like that. My father was there. My parents are still married, but when I was young, my father was never really there. He was constantly at work, which at the time I thought was a bad thing. I recognized it as like he wasn't around. And when he was around, I was terrified of him because he would always have like a really strict tone. And my dad was a no bullshit sort of guy. And like, if you did anything out of line, oh yeah, he would beat your ass. He would beat your ass. At least it was heavily implied. It was like, I feared him. There was a numinous sort of fear towards my dad. And we didn't really bond. We didn't really have anything together that we shared. But, and in fact, I remember growing up and I hated my dad for some reason. I hated him because we were distant and I kind of wished he wasn't there. However, looking back at it now, I realize that he played an important role. And because the reason why I didn't like him was because he was the element in the house that would keep me from BSing with my mom. He would keep me in line, or if I went too far, he would tell me things that I needed to hear and that were very important about, let's say, the life, if you will. Uncomfortable truths that I just had to hear. Like, you know, when I was a kid, I was really into video games. Surprise, surprise, right? I mean, you see the little games on the shelf. And my dad like he was like, no, we're done. We're not buying you any games. We're not doing this. And this was like Nintendo. Okay, I was asking for like a Super Nintendo. I had to get that with my own money, like mow lawns or whatever. So I was like, okay. But no, and it was like one of those things. And a few other examples I could give you guys, but he set the tone, and that was it. And if you wanted to deviate or to work way around it, you'd have to work for it. You have to go on your own to do that, which I did. But long run, I guess down the road, I realized my father was right. Those years I spent playing video games instead of being outside with my dad, learning things that he was trying to teach me, that cost me. While I have fond memories of playing like Zelda or whatever game, Quake or whatever. I remember my father trying to teach me certain things, certain life skills. I just wasn't into it. I just wasn't interested, and I pissed it away. I pissed it all away. I had it there. And those that listen to this, if you were in a fatherless home, probably envy this, because like he was really trying, but I just did not want to be around him because I did not like the fact that he was that authoritative guy. But looking back at it now, I realize he's right. He was right. Not only was he right, but what he was doing was very important. He was trying to help me. I think where he disconnected was that his approach. That's why I, with my kid, I try to make sure that my approach with him is much more like involved with what he's into, and through that, I try to show him things, teach him things. I know this is a long story, but what I'm getting at here is that it's very important to have a father in the home. Okay, the importance at the very beginning is stability. When you have a mom and father in the home, they don't necessarily have to be perfect, right? They're gonna have some issues, they're gonna have some fights or whatever. But you definitely have a much more stable home than that of a single mother household. A single parent household, you may have guys come in and out for boyfriends that may become potential stepfathers. And then these guys, they bring up their own drama. They bring in their own drama, their own baggage, which cause all sorts of issues. Very interesting variables that could change the whole dynamic of the house. They might be abusive to your mom. They might bring in drugs. They might be emotionally abusive to your mom. They might be manipulative. They might be abusive to you or to your sister. Okay? They might even try to kick you out of the home because they see you as a threat. Or your mom might choose her boyfriends over you. So that creates a very unstable situation that could easily lead or kind of push kids into, crime or definitely living on the street and that sort of thing. No, I mean, if they're divorced and they're separated, but you still get the element of you may get the situation with the boyfriends, the potential dates. It depends. There's all sorts of variables here. It depends what's going on, right? I mean, I'm talking like general stuff, and there's a lot of different aspects and variables and shapes and the way things are in people's lives. But a middle class family that's divorced, let's say that they were stable, they both had jobs or whatever. It was infidelity, so maybe they split, it's separated. What the kids are going to go through is like hardship, whatever, to the divorce and all that stuff. That could, it's definitely not as stable as when the mother and father are together. But it could be stabilized, like if they work together, at least for the kids, and they have their separate households now, and they learn to co-parent, whatever, and they function smoothly on that, then that's fine. But at the same time, someone would say, hey, well, Mr. Deadman, even a married household, that might not be stable because the parents may argue in front of the kids. Right. And that would be that would I sort of go back to what I said at the beginning, like not. I know I said abusive parents, but parents, let's also throw in there too, like the ones that like really engage in domestic violence, heavy things right from the kids. Don't do that. Like you got to keep your arguments away from the kids. You have to. If you're a parent and you see your kids as a tool or as a way to win an argument with your spouse, then that is dangerous thinking. That's toxic. Don't do that. That's no. Do not get your kids involved in your disputes. Not like that. Okay. It's not perfect. I know some things I said are not going to be. It's really hard to be 100% accurate with these with general things, right? But all right, but having a father in the home does bring stability, at least potentially, anyway. And that father could teach the son or daughter life skills that are very important, like simple things things that are often neglected and not even thought about. There's a lot of kids these days that just don't even know how to change a tire or change their oil. These are basic skills. They don't even know where the battery in the car is at. Okay? That's not good. Like, it's important to learn these skills, and it's usually the father that teaches it. It could be the mom that teaches, sure. Yeah, that's fine, yeah. But it's usually the father that teaches it. And in those teaching moments, that's a part of a bonding right there, where the way your father talks about things, his sort of outlook on life, it's shared, it's exposed to his kids, and it's shared with his kids, and they may start forming an understanding about life through him, through his experience. I think in those moments, when the child participates in it and actually takes in the advice, takes in the lesson, there's a stronger bond there. There's a stronger connection. And of course, these life skills will be everything. I mean, it'd be like basically, like I said, car related. Be let's say like fishing or hunting, which are also isolated activities where where the father and the kids are together, and there is this. It's great. It's like you exist in the world, and that's it. Especially hunting when you're out there and you're waiting on the deer and all that. All you can do is have conversations with your dad at certain points. Maybe conversations that you never thought you would. Okay? But the other reason why brings having a good father in the home, even just a decent father in the home, brings stability is, of course, income. When you have two parents in the home, you're going to have double income, because most households, both parents will be working, because that just is what it is. I mean, it's just having one person work. Oh man, that dad better be making good money, or that mom, for that matter. But even when that's the case, the mom or whoever the stay-home parent is, they're not just sitting on their ass drinking wine. At least they shouldn't be. They take care of things around the house. It's an understanding expectation. Some people may like roll their eyes to this, be like, "What?" No, it's fair. Like if one person's outside going out and working and bring in the money, the other one needs to make sure to maintain the house. So I think that's understandable. And with then when it gets into, I'll get in back into like the bad dads. Let's say the dads are into drugs or whatever. Does that make a dad a piece of shit? Does it? There's a dad that smokes a little marijuana on the side. Is he a piece of shit? Maybe he does a little bump of coke. Is he a piece of shit? Is he doing it around the kid? You know, if he's not doing it around the kid, I don't think it makes him a piece of shit. I don't think it does. Now, especially when the kid gets older. Oh man, and the parent is still, the father is still into drugs. Maybe got really heavy into drugs, but the father is able to maintain like some sort of income or whatever. Or maybe he has money. He's the drugs, or maybe he doesn't. Maybe the father, and this gets into something I need to talk about too. Maybe like the father walked out of the life of his son because he was into drugs, and the son's now like 20, and his dad tries to come back into his life, but the son wants nothing to do with him because he walked out. Okay. And he's like, "Dad, I don't want anything to do with you. You're a dope head, dope fiend, or whatever. I don't want that." That's a good, important lesson right there. If that kid could recognize the problems of his father, the way his father messed up, he could recognize that his father represents something he doesn't want to become. That's good there. That's perspective. That could definitely help him there. The other thing, though, maybe the father could offer some life advice. Even that dope fiend father can offer some life advice, because there may come a time where this son, this 20-year-old, goes to a party and there's some coke or there's some drugs or whatever, and he doesn't know how to handle it. He doesn't know how to properly handle that stuff, but his dope fiend dad did. So maybe before he writes him out, he takes some life lessons from him. Sometimes you got to take what you can. Nah, but seriously though, the parents that walk out on their kid's life because of drugs, they're horrible parents. They're horrible fathers. And maybe they should just go chase that dragon a little harder. The parents, the fathers that walk out for a pack of smokes and never come back, horrible. The ones that walk out knowing that the mom is a dope head and leaves the kids with the mom, horrible. Like, what you got to do then is, that dad needs to take responsibility. Now, it's hard for a father to care for kids by himself because, usually they're working. But if he uses his, if he has resources that he could use, let's say his parents, like the grandparents or relatives, or like some sort of network, then okay, then he can do it. But some of these families, they're broken, they're shattered, they don't have anybody. The toxic element has gone deep. And those are situations where if things are getting really bad, both parents are into drugs, And that's when CPSers coming in. But like I said, we're bringing it back up. This week, we'll be talking about fathers, the importance of fathers in the home, and the issues that sort of are associated with that. If you want to be a part of that conversation, join the Discord, be on the call live during the Discord, and you're welcome to do that. Like I said, the link to join the Discord will be in the description box below. I hope to see you guys there. And these streams are going to be at Monday, Wednesday at 9:30. Okay? Y'all take it easy and have a good one.